Hey, I'm Kylie, former NICU travel nurse and founder of Passports and Preemies, and you're listening to Clocked Out, Life Beyond the Bedside. This podcast is for nurses who are ready to ask, what else is out there for me? Each week, we dive into what it means to thrive as a nurse beyond the hospital walls through conversations about burnout, alternative careers, travel, financial freedom, and wellness. Whether you're deep in burnout or just craving more freedom, you're in the right place. It's time to redefine what life after clocking out really looks like. Hi, you guys, and welcome back to season 2 of Clocked Out, Life Beyond the Bedside. Okay, it was a nice month break. I feel like I have so many updates for you guys. I am doing this episode a little bit differently because usually in my past solo episodes, I have a speech I've written or I'm answering questions you guys have sent in. And today I was just like, F it, I'm just going to talk and we're going to see where it goes. I have a list of topics I want to cover, but a lot has happened this past month. So I took a 4-week break, which I like the idea of doing this podcast in seasons because, sometimes you just need a break. I have learned that I'm not good at going all out all the time. I need a break a lot. And I'm considering experimenting with that a little bit with social media, taking a week off here and there more than I do. Anyways, that's not the point. Okay. See, this is why I usually write a speech because I can just ramble. And that is not one of the topics I wanted to discuss. So today I wanted to start with we have launched, oh my gosh, my Zara package is here. Hold on. Hey, Julian, the Zara package is here. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, my Zara package arrived and we're back to the show. Okay, so we've launched our signature Beyond the Bedside France trip. I have announced dates that went out to my email newsletter. The spots are already filling and I want you to join us. So if you are free from, let's see, I think it's May 28th to June 3rd, it is going to be a blast. So this will be the third time running this trip and it is so much fun. So first off, if you are considering coming, all you need to do, you can email me, you can reach out on Instagram. I now have somebody else on the team, Kaylee, who is helping with emails and payments and stuff like that. So you can reach out to her. Her email is Kaylee, Cayley, period, BTB for Beyond the Bedside at gmail.com. And her email will be in the show notes. Anyways, the trip is a blast. It's the third time running this. I feel like we've done a really good job at taking the feedback we've been getting and customizing it for the next trip. So honestly, each trip has been better than the last. And this one I'm really, really, really excited for. So you will have to leave the United States or wherever you're coming from. In the past, we have had nurses from Canada and Australia, which has been super fun to not only get to know other nurses around the world, but hear the differences in nursing too. I think that what makes these trips so special is that you all are coming in with a common ground, which is nursing. And we have had some really good talks about that. And I mean, that's not the focus, but I think that it has led to quicker friendships than coming in with nothing in common. So you will need to leave your country on Wednesday to arrive Thursday in Paris. The trip starts Thursday evening. We are going to do a private cooking class. Okay, everybody that has done this cooking class has been more impressed than they thought they would be. Like the food is absolutely phenomenal. You will leave thinking that you are a 3 Michelin star French chef. Like the food is so good. They teach you French cooking traditions and where to get the best products. And we've had people in the past go to stores and buy knives and take them back home with them. Okay, so we start there, then we do a private boat ride on the Seine. And this is a thing a lot of people are excited about. But I had one girl this last trip. If you're listening, Lexi, hi. She was like, oh, I didn't think that I would care so much for the boat trip. And she's like, it was so much fun. The boat ride is phenomenal. There's nothing like seeing Paris from the water. So that's fun. Then let's see, we'll do a pastry tour. We have started to incorporate savory foods because I think it was a little too much of a sugar rush for a lot of people, myself included. And that's with a local tour guide, which is nice because she is able to, again, talk about French food and share her favorite French restaurants. And there is some free time for you to go out on your own. So it's a good time to pick her brain about what she enjoys in Paris. Then what? Pastries, Friday night. Okay, Saturday, we do a huge Versailles tour and we will be seeing the king's private apartments, which is, I mean, it's the best part of Versailles, in my opinion. And that's amazing. We have an amazing tour guide for that. That's an all day event. Then we do, oh gosh, we eat a lot of good French food. We go to Colmar in the Alsace region of France. So this is actually the French region is called Grande, but it is considered the Alsace wine route, which is in France and in Germany. I mean, personally, this is probably my favorite part because I'm a wine lover. You guys know that. So we do 2 nights in Colmar. We do a private wine tour through the little villages. It's so charming and beautiful. This trip honestly is like the best itinerary for France, I think. And then we come back to Paris and we just have a little farewell dinner, and that's that. I don't wanna give too much I gave a lot away. I don't wanna give too much away, but I really hope you join us. We've had such good feedback. Every single girl that's come has said that they want to rebook on our next trip, which will be coming. Okay, I'm scared to say it out loud because things are not 100% set in stone, but I have been getting questions about it. But this our next Beyond the Bedside trip is hopefully going to be in the winter of 2026. Hopefully. It was supposed to be this winter, 2025, and some things fell apart. So hopefully we're aiming for winter 2026. Yeah, so I'm really excited to expand and I hope you can join us. It's a blast. It's a great way to meet other people, to get away from the bedside and just, let your hair down. Okay, so that's that. That's kind of the big update on business stuff. But I really wanted to talk about the wedding because I took the month off really because we had our wedding. And I feel like I say we got married, but we really got married February 15th. So in France, okay, think about it in the United States. Before you have your wedding, you go to the courthouse, I guess, and you sign your marriage certificate. So I guess I don't know if you're technically married at that point, but in France, you do a version of that. You go to the courthouse. It's called your civil marriage. There's a judge and you do vows and you get married. And in France, you're married. That's all you need to be married. You don't have to have okay, so that is the wedding. In France, then, if you're going to talk about how an American wedding happens, right? So you go to the courthouse and then you have your wedding. So in France, the wedding portion is considered the religious ceremony. So you do your civil ceremony, you're married. Then your religious ceremony is technically when you invite all your friends and family and you have a party. You might go to a church and do your vows and then you party. And in France, the civil ceremony is actually a bigger deal than the religious ceremony or the wedding. So, the civil ceremony, you generally have friends and family come. Julian only had one friend because I wasn't going to have my friends come for that and then our wedding. So, my mom and dad came, his mom, her boyfriend, and then Julian's very best friend, Maxime. So we officially got married February 15th. We had a nice lunch, we partied, whatever. That's that. So then we had our wedding. So I keep saying, "Oh, I just got married," but I've been married since February. We had our wedding in Bordeaux in a wine region called Saint-Emilion, which is stunning. No notes. I would love to do like a second Beyond the Bedside trip in this region of France. So we got married in Saint-Emilion and that was, like, our big wedding. Okay, so I wanna start kind of we had guests in town for 3 weeks, so I wanna start with my mini bachelorette party. We went to Menton, France, which is in the French Riviera. It is in France, but right at the border of Italy. So you are what? You're in the very eastern part. You're on the Mediterranean Sea. The town sits between the foot of the Alps and the Mediterranean. So it's like no matter where you turn, okay, you turn north, oh, there's Italy. You turn east, there's the Mediterranean. You turn south, there's France and Monaco. You can't see Monaco, but and then you turn west and there's the Alps. So no matter where you turn, it is so freaking pretty. It was my first time in the French Riviera. It was so much fun. I feel like Menton, it's not the place you're gonna go to like, party and get those French Riviera, Saint Tropez, Cannes, Nice. That's not what's happening in Menton. Menton is very quiet and it's a day tripper place. So if you spend the night, you'll have very quiet mornings and very quiet evenings. I like that because I'm 36 now. I'm not really trying to club that often. So it was really nice to just wake up. I was with my mom and my sister-in-law, and we were in this beautiful town and just go get pastries and a coffee. What I like about Minto is that there are some pretty cool experiences, but very pricey. So the coolest experience is dining at the three-star Michelin restaurant Mirazur. And this was the number one restaurant in the world in 2019. So this is an Argentinian chef who, I mean, I'm assuming he was French trained. I guess I don't know his background. I just know he's from Argentina. He has this number one restaurant. Also in Menton, he has opened, I think there's a steakhouse. We didn't go to that. He opened a pizza place, which is amazing. It was ranked the number 69 pizza in the world. And that ranking took place in Milan, Italy. So I believe that ranking. And we ate the pizza. It was amazing. And he also has a little bakery. But his restaurant mirrors are so it's pricey, you guys. It was I think it was for only food, it's 500 euro per person, which right now comes out to close to $600, I believe, because the dollar's pretty weak compared to the euro. I counted 18 different dishes, like tasting things. So if you like experiences like that, I have to say it was fabulous. It's not gonna be for everyone. If you're not a foodie, it's a waste of money. If you don't, like, appreciate that kinda stuff, it's a waste of money. But I appreciate it. It was amazing. So you walk into this restaurant, it's windows of the open kitchen, right? So you can see the chefs doing their thing. And then the bathroom, it's weird. I'm talking about the bathroom at this restaurant. They turned it into a spa. You go in the bathroom and there's music, and then on the ground, there's rocks. It feels like you're in a spa and there's waterfalls. And then even when you flush the toilet, it's an experience. Like, I can't explain it. You just have to go. So then they walk you to your table, and the attention to detail is just superb. I put on the reservation, it's my bachelorette party. They acknowledged that. They gave me a dessert for that. I hate it when restaurants, especially Michelin restaurants, ask you if you're celebrating something and you tell them and then they don't acknowledge it when you arrive. So this place did an amazing job of that. We also did the wine tasting, so you can choose different ones. We chose the French one, and I think that added, I wanna say 150 euro. So total in US dollars, it was about 800 per person, which again, very expensive. But if you're a foodie, totally worth it, or if you have some extra income. So we did the wine tasting. Another thing that I really liked is every dish had its own forks and knives and cutlery and plate. The food went on a certain plate to make it more aesthetically pleasing, I guess. And there was this one dish that had black squid ink. So it was a dark dish and they served it in this black bowl. And then the wine that they paired with it was in a black glass and it was a surprise wine. We were supposed to guess what the wine was. So that course was just really interesting, right? It's like this dark and moody course. I just have not enough good things to say. Donatella was there, Versace. Unfortunately, I didn't see her, but my mom and sister-in-law were in the bathroom with her. And apparently, I don't know if she was with like a boyfriend, an assistant, a friend, but he was very annoying and maybe a little condescending. He was trying to give her purse away, a Chanel purse, not a Versace. And he was like, "Here, take this purse, take this purse." And they didn't know it was Donatella at first, and they were like, "Okay, why would we take this purse?" If I was there, I'd be like, "I'll take the Chanel," but I wasn't. And then Donatella came out of the bathroom, and they were like, "Okay, that was super weird." Nobody could gauge if it was like they were fighting or if it was a joke or I don't know, it was weird, I guess. But I was just happy to breathe the same air and have the same experience at the same time as Donatella. And they did say that I mean, they were discreet. They weren't giving out lots of info, but they definitely have celebrity clientele there that come. Okay. Menton, what else? Another cool thing about Menton is you can rent a boat and you can actually see Monaco, France, and Italy all in one day. So that was fun. I have to say, Monaco's not for me. I didn't step foot in Monaco, I was just in the water, but it's too rich for me. I would just be there being like, I wish I had $1 billion. It's just never going to happen, which is fine. But it also just didn't look pretty from the water. It's all these skyscrapers in the beautiful setting, and that bothered me. I like the cute little towns with colorful buildings more. But we were going by all these yachts and Googling what they were. Of course, everyone was a billionaire, but it's like billionaire from New Zealand, from Israel, from I don't think we saw Russia one. We didn't see any from the United States. So that was Monaco. We were able to get in the water. It was warm enough. So that was a fun experience too. And that's it for Menton. If you guys want to travel there, the easiest way is to fly into Nice. Then you can take the train or a taxi or rent a car and go. It's a 45-minute to an hour journey up to Menton. So it's not bad. It's pretty easy. I feel like when I travel to a new area the first time, I get overwhelmed by thinking about, well, how do I take a taxi? How do I get on the train? And then I just have to remind myself hundreds of people do this every single day. And if they figured it out, I can figure it out. Obviously, there's an infrastructure for it. It's going to be fine. But I literally go through this. Even if I'm in a new city in the United States, I just get stressed going to a new place because I am scared I'm doing something wrong. Anyways, that's that. That's Menton. So come back to Paris. My family's in town. My friends are starting to get in town. I tried to mostly focus on my family before my actual bachelor party and the wedding just because I knew I'd be with my friends a lot at that point. And it was kind of hard and sad to be, with my family and know all my friends were in town doing stuff, or be with my friends and know all my family was in town doing stuff. I mean, I'm so lucky that everybody came and celebrated us, but just I wish everyone was here longer or time was slowed down or we could go back and do it again. It was so, so, so special. Me and my sister, my mom, my aunt, my cousin, my niece, we had a girls' day out in Paris, and that was really fun. We had coffee outside in front of Place des Vosges, which is a little park in the Marais. And Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt, rumor has it, they used to have an apartment here. So, you know what? If it's good enough for them, it's good enough for me. This park is beautiful, and they have little cafes around where you can get a coffee. So that was fun. Then we had a shopping day. We went to lunch. What else? Yeah, that was that. Then I had on Wednesday, so the wedding was Saturday. So on Wednesday, I had a Parisian bachelorette party. And it was honestly the best girls' night of my whole entire life. I could cry thinking about it. So we had lunch, which I wasn't going to do. And then I found this really good lunch spot for a big group. And it is called Aura Farmhouse. And it is in a park in Paris. It's in the Buchemont, which is in the northeast part of Paris. And if you're looking at Google Maps, it looks like a croissant. So if you zoom out and you see little, green spots, the one that looks like a croissant, that is Buchemont. And we had lunch at Aura Farmhouse. It was really, really beautiful. A great spot for a big group. Then we did a boat. We got a boat on the Seine. That was amazing. That's my favorite activity, I think. So we did the boat ride on the Seine, and this boat could fit 50 people, and we rented it out. There was only 17 of us. So it was really fun and way too big for our party, but it was fun. And then, you guys, we went to this club, La Speakeasy. So it was a dinner where they had singing and then it turned into a club. So that was fun. Okay, a couple things about that. So first off, they called me 5 days before our reservation. And I made this reservation months ago. And well, actually, they didn't call me. They emailed me and said that my reservation was canceled. And I was like, how in the world am I going to get a reservation for 17 people 5 days before? So, Julian called them nonstop basically. And they were like, there had problems with the bathrooms. They ended up opening strictly for our party. They said that they would not have opened that early had it not been for my reservation. So that was kind of funny because we walk in, we didn't know what to expect. It ended up being really fun, but there was some bathrooms that you weren't allowed to use. And we walked in, we were the first people there at 9:30 at night. And we were like, okay. But it became clubby and party. It was a little annoying because some guys joined us, like my friends' husbands, later in the night, like 1 in the morning. So it was like we had our girl time and they wouldn't let them in because they were wearing shorts, which I get. But then there was all these weird old guys in there with jeans on and t-shirts. We're a party of 17. We're not done partying. If you don't let them in, we're leaving. And they said no. So we just had to leave. But anyways, it was really fun. It was a good time. Let's see. Then we did Thursday, we had a welcome dinner for just family at one of our favorite French restaurants, Lennox, a very, very local spot. So that was fabulous. Friday, we all took the train to Bordeaux. We had a welcome party. So in France, welcome parties are not common. So they really just do the wedding Saturday. Julian actually really appreciated the welcome party Friday because it felt like then at the wedding, we'd already said hello to everyone. We weren't trying to get around and talk. We could just enjoy the wedding. So at the welcome party, we met everybody and it was good for our guests, I think, to get to know each other. It was food and drink. And then they happened to have a DJ. We didn't hire one. It was a surprise, I guess. So that was really fun. And that was on the rooftop of the Mama Shelter Hotel in Bordeaux. And this is a hotel chain. So the first time I stayed at a Mama Shelter was in Dijon, France. And I loved it. It's kind of quirky. It kind of reminds me of a 25 hours. So it's a little bit quirky and some are nicer than others. The Dijon one is a lot nicer than the one in Bordeaux, but I really like it and it's affordable. So it's a good option for that. Some are 3-star, some are 4-star. And the food, we ate at the Dijon one and at the Bordeaux one now. The food both times at the hotels was really good. So this is a hotel chain I'll definitely be interested in staying at more and when I travel looking up if they have a mama shelter. So that was fun. And then, oh my gosh. Okay, so then Saturday's the wedding, right? So me and my sister and my best friend Sarah, we leave the welcome party and it's pouring rain and we had to walk 10 minutes to the car. I put my wedding dress, I had everything to go spend the night at the chateau. I put my wedding dress over my head and I walked to the car and then we get there and I'm like, why did I just got my wedding dress wet? Anyways, it was fine, but it just things like that. I was like, why did I do that? So me and my sister and my best friend spent the night. Another thing in France. Okay. So it's common to be married in a chateau, but usually in the chateau, you can also rent it for the weekend and then friends and family stay in the chateau with you. So we did get a chateau, but we weren't allowed to access a lot of it because it is original from, I don't know, 18th, 19th century, and they're restoring it. So on the property, they had a little house that we could stay in. So we rented that house all weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And me and my sister and Sarah stayed there Friday. And then Julian and I stayed there Saturday, Sunday. But the wedding was Saturday. I decided to do my own hair and makeup because literally for one person, just myself, the people in Paris were charging 2,000 euro for just makeup for one person. And I was like, okay, that's ridiculous. So all summer, when I decided I'm just going to do my own, I have literally been on a journey. I have done my makeup more time this summer than I have in my entire life because I've been practicing and trying new products. And now I am a makeup guru. So I did my own hair and makeup. It turned out great. I loved it. My friends helped a lot, but I think it was stressful in the sense that because I was doing it on my own and it took longer than I thought, I didn't get to enjoy their presence at the house. Some other friends came Saturday morning and I was just stressed trying to get everything done. So that was a little bit upsetting, but it is what it is. And then the wedding kicked off. We did have an officiant. She was a female pastor. So I don't know if you call a female a pastor, but she was amazing. And then we had our cocktail hour outside at the front of the chateau. It was so pretty. And then we had the champagne tower, which was very French. And then the dinner was inside. We did the full sit down dinner. And in France, you don't choose your plate. You don't mail out thing like, do you want chicken or fish? In France, you get one dish, unless I think if we wanted to incorporate another dish, it was an extra $4,000. And we were like, no, people can just eat what we say. So we picked duck. And when I told my dad we were doing duck, he was like, oh my God, nobody's going to eat that. Nobody's going to do that. Like, gross, Kylie, come on. And I have to say, everybody loved it. We got the best feedback about the food. Just don't knock it till you try it. So we had duck, we started with ceviche, then we had duck, we did a cheese course, and then at the end, everybody got their own dessert. So we didn't do a wedding cake. Everyone got these they looked like mini wedding cakes. They were purple. They were so good. It was amazing. Everyone that gave a speech, my brothers, my sister, Julian's friends, whatever, his brother, everyone did so good. That made it really special. And then we had a band. So another thing in France is, I guess in America, your wedding goes to like what, midnight? In France, your wedding goes until 4 in the morning. And I was like, no one's going to stay awake. Everyone was partying. Nobody wanted to leave. We did it till 3, and I do wish we did it till 4 instead. But we had a band and then we had a DJ after the band. So this band was amazing. They were called the Voyagers and now they're called Honey, I think. They just changed their name, but they're from England and they mostly do après ski. I got their schedule for the DJ at least. She was the lead singer and she's a DJ. She's performing all winter in Zermatt, Switzerland, and France. So if anybody is traveling to those areas this winter, let me know and I'll send you her schedule because she was super good. Let's see, what else? I wanted to talk about the differences in wedding, which I think I did, serving duck, having the wedding till 4 in the morning, the welcome party, which the French people don't really do. Those are the biggest differences. What I would have done differently, if I could have spent more money, I would have hired my hair and makeup just so I was less stressed. I would have had the wedding go later even, which is kind of a wild take. One thing, we only served wine, espresso martinis, and limoncello spritzes until the band started. Then we served liquor. I actually wonder if that was a bad idea because things got maybe out of control at that point. I mean, nothing bad. It's not like people are breaking things, but I think people just maybe got too drunk at that point. There might have been some throwing up on one of the buses home. I don't know. I wasn't there. Okay, next steps. So, oh my gosh, it's been 32 minutes. My mouth hurts. I'm tired of hearing myself talk. So if you're still here, I apologize. Okay, next steps. So, in France now, I feel like official resident. I have my medical card, my carte vitale, which is you just show this card when you go to the doctor and you pay. Okay, so when you show the card in France, a lot of things are linked together, which is very different in the US. So you need a bank account first because your social security card, which is your health insurance, is linked to your bank and also your train. If you're a resident, the train is cheaper in France. So your train card is also linked to your bank account. So when you tap in to go to the train, it comes directly out of your bank account. They don't have credit cards here. You don't pay it off later. So that goes directly to your bank account. And then your carte vitale, your health insurance, that gets taken directly from your bank account as well. And then when you, I guess, I mean, I have to learn more. I haven't been to the doctor since I got this card. But when you submit your payment to the government, maybe, then they refund you. They just put it back in your account. And then you also need a French phone number because to access your bank account, you have to have a French phone number. So now I have all of those things. One thing I am liking about the idea of health insurance here, so they have this app called Doctolib. I think it's in France, Spain, and Italy. And you just get on this app and then you say what you need. So I've already scheduled a gynecologist appointment. So I search gynecologist and then all these people pop up. In France, you're not allowed to rate people on this, at least on this app. Julian said it's illegal to rate doctors, which is kind of funny. So you find a doctor, it will say what languages they speak, what their education is, where they work, how long they've been in practice, what they do. So when I was looking, I was looking obviously for someone that can do a pap smear. And then I wanted somebody who also does obstetrics because eventually I think we'll get pregnant, hopefully. So I kind of just want to find the doctor for that. And then you just book it through the app. They have their openings and you book it. And it will say if they take your Carte Vitale, which is your health insurance. And then it also says what the payment is, because you get refunded most of it, not all of it. So the doctor I'm seeing, I think it's $75 for the visit. And then I think in the end, I only end up paying $5 or $10 total for everything. And again, I don't have a monthly health insurance premium. I mean, I think obviously Julian might for me, but it's not like in the US. It's like you pay $200 and then you also pay $50, your copay or whatever. So I'm excited to go to my appointment and kind of see how things work in that sense. Anyway, so yes, I'm a French resident. We're going on our honeymoon, I think in March-ish. We keep every weekend we're like, we're picking the dates. We're picking the dates. We haven't picked the dates. We're going to Japan. We've decided. Very excited about that. If you have any tips for Japan, I would love to hear it. Hopefully, we've talked now a lot about expanding our family. So potentially after Japan, thinking about getting pregnant. It's a weird thing to say because your whole life you try not to get pregnant. And then it's like, oh, the time is here. And then you're just supposed to talk about it like it's normal. I think it's a little frustrating just being 36. I know there's options, freeze your eggs, whatever. I guess I would wait longer if I wasn't 36, but I also don't want to necessarily freeze my eggs and wait longer because ideally I would like to enjoy many healthy years with my children. So that's been frustrating. And especially because Julian's 29, I think he would also wait, but that's just the price of aging, I guess. And then my last thing, which I did announce on Instagram, but I have started a new chapter. I have started new social accounts, Kylie in France. I was, you guys, like paralyzed with decision anxiety, the inability to make a decision about this for at least 8 months. Like, should I start a new account? Should I change passports and preemies name? Like, no, because I'm so tied to nursing and my group trips and this podcast. I'm like, should I start over? Should I not? Do I just start making France content on passports and preemies? And finally, I just decided to start new slate. So I started new accounts, Kylie and France on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. I don't think I'm going to start a website. I'm considering a podcast for that. I'm considering a lot of things for that. But basically, if you've been looking at my account for France info and you feel like you're not really getting it, it's because I am going to do more of that on Kylie in France. And that will be all things travel, lifestyle, French culture, food, drink, all that good stuff. So if you're interested in that, that is where you can find that information. Oh my gosh, I think that's it. I think I'm done. Thank you for sticking with me. I'm excited for this season. Actually, the next 2 weeks, we have amazing guests. I talked to a girl from Norway. She's an American Norwegian working in Norway as a nurse, and she's about to come back to the United States to work as a nurse. And then I talked to another gal who is American and she is living in Sweden. and she flies to California for a PRN job. So, talking to some interesting guests. If you want to be a guest, you think you have an interesting story to share, if you want to hear someone on this podcast, please, please, please let us know. I feel like you know where to find me on all of the things. Okay, I'm done talking and thank you for sticking around. Au revoir.
Thanks so much for tuning in to Clocked Out, Life Beyond the Bedside. If today's episode resonated with you, I'd love it if you could take a moment to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with a fellow nurse who needs to hear it. For more on thriving beyond the bedside, make sure to follow along on Instagram and check out Passports and Preemies, where we talk travel, wellness, and building a life that works for you.